everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. It's Monday. What a great day, huh? Hope you're having you have a good weekend? My weekend was great. Got a few things to talk about today. We got a little bit of a mosh going. We're going to have a little star party later on. First off, I want to talk about, again, I got a lot of friends of mine having a little bit of a difficult situation here. I want to talk about my Uncle Harry. I call my Uncle Harry as my grandmother's brother, so it's probably my great Uncle Harry, but we call him Uncle Harry. And anybody I've ever known that grew up during the Great Depression, which was my grandmother, my grandfather, and their siblings and whatnot, they were some of the smartest people I ever met. Their whole look at life was so much better than any other generation that I know of because of the hardships that they went through. And then, anything after that was like nothing, So, wanted to talk about my Uncle Harry. My Uncle Harry that guy was great, man. He looked just like Colonel Sanders, but like a buff Colonel Sanders. And, the guy was great, and he was older, obviously. He was like, in his 70s, 60s, 70s when I was young. But I was always picking his brain because not only did he have the coolest stories, and his life experiences were great, but he was always happy. Even my grandmother said, she said during the Depression, your Uncle Harry was like such a happy guy, and everybody wanted to be around him. And it was that way through his whole life. And I asked him one time when I was younger, I said, Uncle Harry, how do you stay so happy all the time, And he says, happiness is, it's all in your control. It's, you got to surround yourself with things that make you happy and people that make you happy and do just the opposite with things that don't. And those words of wisdom really ring true more now than ever. And it's true. You got to, surround yourself with things that make yourself happy and stay away from things that don't. And I'm telling you right now, 99% of you, I guarantee that the things that are making you unhappy today and your whole life, most of it, is things that aren't in your life, like things you watch on the news. The news is poison. It's literally poison. And if you watch it and you think you're informed, you're sadly misinformed, So stay away from the news. Surround yourself with good things, good books, good literature, good YouTube videos. Have some fun. Get down the shop. Get a hobby. You will be so happy. So let's get started with a couple hobbies. Like I said, we got that star party later on. We're going to check out a cool crater on the moon. And let's see what tool we can restore today. All right. I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling a little ambitious today. I'm going to do a project that I was dared by our good friend Juan Marquez. Juan, who sent all that good stuff over. Juan sent a wrench that was unrestorable. And he's like, man, I'd like to see you try, this is for Juan. This is going to be a tough one. This is probably going to be the hardest restoration I ever did. Let's check it out. Look at this. Look at this. This is something that when I pulled this out to show you guys, when he sent it over, I said, this is something you don't touch. When you see this, you just walk away. Walk away. This is unrestorable. Look at it. It came from the sea or something. The pitting is so deep, so incredibly horrific. It's frozen. It's just, there's 100 things wrong with it. Look, there's a little spot that looks like it wasn't. Have you ever seen, I can't even make out the maker. I can't even make out the maker of this. A wire brush wouldn't even do, look at this. Look over here. It's so deeply pitted. It's just like, most people would say, are you out of your mind? Just chuck that. Just throw it away. Oh, it's a Williams. Oh, look, Williams. They make good wrenches. Yeah, it's a Williams. But I don't know what's on this side. Anyway, what do you think? Look at that. Oh, goodness gracious. This is something that somebody comes up and goes, hey, you like to restore wrench. You want to try that? It's like, no, I don't want to waste my time on that. It's going to take you forever. But you know what? Because I know you guys tune in here because you want to see the impossible done. Let's see what we can do. Okay, for those of you at home, do not try something like, this is not worth restoring. But you see here, it has the screw, but it's frozen. It's going to be real frozen. We got to heat this up and hopefully try and get that screw out using, and it's going to be I don't even know if we'll be able to get that out. Let's try. You know what's funny? Every time I heat this up with a torch and then I spray that 50-50 acetone transmission fluid, I'm waiting for like a fire. But I do it every time. Every time I do it, and every time I expect a fire. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a bit that's as wide as it can get in there. This is a perfect bit for here. And you're going to put that bit in like this, and you're just going to tap it. A couple light taps in here. It's still very hot. Couple taps, okay? Just a couple taps to see if it, will shock it free. We already had that heat. And then we're going to put the screwdriver on here. And here's the important part. You want to get a lot of pressure. And let me show you how I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be leaning over it. I hope this shows up on camera here. Let me just see 1 second. Sorry about this. I'm going to be putting my weight onto here. I have it in the vise. I'm going to be putting my weight down like this. And we have just a little bit of movement. Now, with that little bit of movement, which is great, add a little bit more 50-50. And just keep going back and forth. Do not try and twist it all the way out at first. Just go back and forth. Let that 50-50 penetrate through. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Uh-oh, look, look, look. Back and forth, a little more. Don't be stingy with the 50-50. If this comes out, this will be a huge plus. I have definite, there we go. A little bit of heat, a little 50-50. Look at that. And when it starts getting tight, again, go back and forth, let the 50-50. Don't ever strip this out. Look at that. The right bit, a little bit of pressure. And Bob's your uncle. Hey, woo! Look at this. We got it apart. Let me show you what we have here. Yeah, everything's in good shape. Nothing's really damaged. That everything's looking good. Even little thumb wheel looks good. You know, that penetrating. But look over here. You know, I mean, all right. Now comes the fun. Let's have some fun. Okay, the first part is to get the wrench working well, and we took down. You see, we got the knurled nut nice. We have the pin nice. We have, look at this here. We have movement now. Remember how I told you this has to be smooth, yet it's still tight. So we kept all the clearance parts. So right now we would have a working wrench, but you know. Maybe I should just spray it flat black. Now, many times people ask me, what size flap disc do you use? Well, what happens is a flap disc will wear out, and it becomes, once it starts wearing, it becomes almost like a lesser grit disc. So here's a brand new 40, right? I'm sorry, 60 grit, brand new, very coarse, right? And here is a 40 grit, but worn. Now, you would think a 40 grit was more aggressive than this, but not. You know, this one here will leave a pretty smooth surface because it's so worn. Save that for later, but right now I need to take off a lot of material, and I'll go right with this very aggressive 60 grit. Now this is where some people say, well, I don't want to take off too much. Come on, just keep going. Just keep going. Get down to the nitty gritty down here. Oh, this looks terrible, don't it? Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. Welcome to our Monday night star party. And let me show you some of the equipment we have and some of the visitors we have. Okay, here's my little buddy, the raccoon. He's, I've been feeding this guy. Look how big he is. Years I've been feeding this guy. You ever seen a guy so big? He sits out here and he likes to look at the stars, but I can't get him to look through the viewfinder. Anyway, here we are. Here's the setup here. You can see we have our Orion 8-inch telescope here, and we have it adjusting. We have our some of our lenses, some of our eyepieces, and a little red light there. Once our eyes get adjusted, you know, we shut off the light, and that's when this little guy will come over and maybe try and his little camera shot. One thing that's nice to have is, you see this little adjusting seat here? When you take the seat, you can adjust it to any height you want, from down low all the way up to high. And that's because when you start using the telescope here, you know, your eyepiece will vary in height. Now, I'm not too concerned about losing my night vision, because we're going to be looking at that moon up there. Okay, tonight's moon is called a waning gibbous, and what we're going to be looking for tonight is a crater that you'll be able to see. And again, I'm taking this with my telescope and using the iPhone through the eyepiece, so it's not the best quality, but not bad considering. And the crater we're going to be looking for is called Albategnius, and it is, you can see it right there. It's the bottom crater with the secondary crater inside, and I'll zoom in on it. And that crater is 80 miles across and 2 3/4 miles deep. So it's a big crater, you know. It's and it's always, I've always been fascinated with it. And you can see here that that little crater inside of it is called the Klein crater, and that crater is 27 miles across, as you can see. But it's always interesting. We would pick some craters out, study them for a while, and then count the number of craters within the crater to see if there's been any impacts since the last time you looked. There's just so much things to look at on the moon. It's such a great hobby. And there it is, tonight's mini star party. Hope you enjoyed that one. Okay, the moment you've been waiting for. Remember what this wrench looked like before we started? And we're calling this project done. This is Juan's challenge to me. As like I said before, this was Juan Marquez sent this in, and it was a wreck. It really was. And we kind of laughed about it through emails, but look at this, huh? This came out. I'll tell you, it just goes to show you that there's nothing beyond restoration, in my opinion. And let's see what we did here. First of all, on this side, I couldn't save the lettering. It did say Super Wrench, but look at this. I did it down to a mirror finish in here, right? I remember what this looked like, right? Look at that. And on this side, we did the J. Williams in a candy green, okay? And a little Scoutcrafter red there on the insignia, and it works. I'll tell you, no slop whatsoever. It's very, I'll tell you, this wrench feels like it was never ever used. I did the jaws over. See the jaws? All done over. The top here, remember what that looked like? It was beat on in the back, and the handle, remember the handle, remember the back here. Remember the back, how we like to do the back, but remember the back was all beat to heck, and boy, I'll tell you, this was something else. To think that this wrench was able to come back after what it went through, right? That it was either in the sea or something, and I'm telling you, the way the knurls feel, the way this wrench feels, it feels like new old stock. It feels like it was never used. And it's just beautiful. Polished the back here, polished. Everything's good. So, just goes to show you there's nothing beyond reprieve. Everything can come back. Yeah, amazing wrench. Really gave me perspective into things. Okay, so in closing, I want to say again, special thanks to Juan Marquez for the challenge and for the wrench. And also, special happy birthday, Ton Tavern 1775 tomorrow, where they will be celebrating 10 November, their birthday, and you know who you are. Special happy birthday to you. And thanks very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this one. Take care now. Bye-bye.